For decades, we've watched this battle play out. Celebrities trying to live their lives, and a public that just can't get enough of those candid photos. But this is so much more than just tabloid drama. It's a really high-stakes game. We're talking about safety, technology, and this ever-shifting line between what's public interest and what's a private life. And just last year, that line got crossed in a way that felt terrifyingly familiar.
This quote, this is from a spokesperson for Prince Harry and Meghan just last year. It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? The words near catastrophic card chase are just chilling. It's dramatic, it's scary, and it proves this is not some problem that's gone away. For them, on the streets of New York City, that threat felt incredibly real.
And when you look at the history here, it's clear the 2023 incident wasn't some isolated event. It's actually the latest chapter in a really disturbing pattern. From the tragic death of Princess Diana back in 1997 to the absolute hounding of Britney Spears in the 2000s, it's like history is just tragically repeating itself.
So let's dive into the heart of this conflict. Let's talk about the relentless pursuit itself.
You have to understand, for Prince Harry, this is just so deeply personal. You can't separate that chase in New York from the 1997 tragedy in Paris that took his mother's life. When his spokesperson used the words near catastrophic, that was intentional. It's meant to echo that history and remind everyone that the stakes here are, quite literally, life and death.
So where did all this aggression come from? Well, it didn't just appear out of thin air. To really get it, we've got to rewind to the mid-2000s. This was a time that created a perfect media storm, and there was one person right in the middle of it, Britney Spears.
This comment really just says it all, right? It captures the feeling that there was a complete lack of humanity, no compassion. Every single moment was a photo opportunity. And for someone like Britney, there was no escape, not for a second. She never, ever got a break.
So what was fueling this fire? Well, it was a whole mix of things. You had these new, hungry gossip blogs like TMZ popping up. You had new digital cameras that were cheaper and faster, catching every single moment. And of course, there was this insatiable public demand. But here's the kicker. Celebrities had no way to fight back. This was before social media. They couldn't tell their own side of the story. They were totally trapped in whatever narrative was spun by a media culture that, as one commenter put it, was more than happy to tear women down.
And that's the crucial point. This wasn't just an annoyance for them. It was a 24/7, constant state of surveillance. Can you even imagine dealing with that from the second you wake up into the second you go to sleep? It was this immense psychological pressure cooker that, as another person pointed out, would drive literally anyone to the brink. But, eventually something had to give. All that constant harassment led to a turning point. Celebrities decided they were done just enduring it. They started to fight back, using the one tool they had, the legal system, trying to carve out just a little bit of private space for themselves.
And this number right here, this became a really powerful symbol of that fight, $550,000. This wasn't just a slap on the wrist. This was a message, loud and clear, that invading a celebrity's privacy could now have serious financial consequences.
So who does that number belong to? Jennifer Aniston. Back in 2002, she sued a photographer who literally scaled an 8-foot wall to snap pictures of her sunbathing in her own backyard. Her argument was incredibly simple. I'm in my home, I should have an expectation of privacy here. And you know what? The courts agreed. That sent a huge message.
So Aniston's case was massive. It basically drew a clear line in the sand. Your home is off limits. But then, about a decade later, Adele came along and pushed that boundary even further. She wasn't suing over photos taken in her house. She was suing over paparazzi pictures of her 2-year-old son's milestone moments, things like his first family outing, out in public. This completely changed the game. The fight went from protecting property to protecting people, especially kids.
And this was the heart of her whole argument. Her legal team stated very emphatically that just because she was famous, her son was not public property. The case ended with a 5-figure payout, and it established a brand new precedent. The children of public figures have a right to privacy that has to be respected. But just as these legal boundaries were being drawn on the ground, a brand new technology was creating a whole new threat from above. The battle for privacy was about to go airborne.
Yup, I'm talking about the Paparazzi drone. These little unmanned aerial vehicles could fly right over walls, over fences, making backyards and private pools vulnerable in a way they never were before. All those physical barriers that stars like Jennifer Aniston fought so hard to protect, suddenly they were kind of meaningless.
And Kanye West, he really put this fear into simple human terms with this quote. It's not about some abstract legal idea. It's about fundamental family moments. It's about being able to teach your kid how to swim without being watched from the sky by a flying camera.
So this new threat led to new laws, like California's AD 2306. But it wasn't a simple fix. On one side, you had supporters like the Paparazzi Reform Initiative saying drones are a huge concern for privacy. But on the other side, you had groups like the National Press Photographers Association worried the law was just too vague and that it could interfere with legitimate journalists doing their jobs. It just shows you how complex this all is.
Okay, so all of this brings us right up to today, and the whole landscape has just shifted dramatically. I mean, the game has completely changed, but those fundamental questions about privacy, they're more relevant than ever.
So let's really ask ourselves, what's actually changed between that peak paparazzi craziness in 2007 and right now?
Well, honestly, a lot. For starters, smartphones have turned every single one of us into a potential photographer. But maybe more importantly, celebrities have grabbed control of their own narrative through social media. They can share their own pictures, connect directly with their fans, and basically just bypass the paparazzi. Because of that, the public's hunger for those grainy, long-lens photos has gone down. And on top of that, new laws have put even more restrictions in place.
And that kind of leaves us with this final thought. The professional paparazzi might be less powerful now, but the tools of surveillance, they're in everyone's hands. When any of us can snap a photo and share it with the world in an instant, this question of privacy isn't just about celebrities anymore. It's about all of us. So the real question now is, where do we draw the line?